All right, before we get started, just a reminder to mute your cell phones if you would. Um, First up today is top seed South Carolina Gamecocks in the Greensboro region, represented today by head coach Don Staley and student athletes Bree Beal, Victoria Saxton. Coach, if you would, please make an opening statement.
Excited to be in this position where we've moved on from the first round. But we had pretty good competition in here over the past couple of days. Appreciate Howard coming and being so gracious. And I know I talked to Jose from South Florida. I just hope that everybody had an incredible experience being here, and I hope they think we were gracious hosts. But we look forward to turning the page and playing a real hot and exciting Miami team.
With that, we'll open up for questions just for the student athletes first, please. David?
How's it going, Bree? Have you had a chance to watch Miami's game from the other night? Have you seen any film on them yet?
We definitely got a chance before our game to, sit down and watch a little bit. But I think definitely when I got back to the room later that night, I did rewatch their game just to see how they really play together, what they've been doing, stuff like that. So I think it was a lot of, personal time watching them.
How much of a personal challenge is it to you to take whoever you're guarding and try to lock them down?
I think just continue doing what I'm doing. I just don't think it's not something I necessarily, dwell on. It's just continuing the pattern and habits I have next game to the next game.
Kim?
Hey, Victoria, I know the focus is, to try to get to Greensboro and then to Minneapolis, but have you allowed yourself to process that tomorrow will be the last time you take the court and play here at CLA?
I'm excited. I'm ready to see what our fans are about to bring here for us tomorrow. I think it's going to be really fun.
Other questions for the student athletes? Please raise your hand. Get a microphone to you. Go to Jeffrey from the AP.
For both of you, how do you, they've been, one key to their run in the last month and a half has been hot shooting. How do you keep that from happening tomorrow?
Victoria, please go first.
Can you ask again? Sorry.
Oh, just how do you, they've shot better than their average for almost this entire run they've had, where they've won, I think, 9 out of their last 11. So what do you have to do defensively to keep them from getting in that kind of groove?
I just think that we have to go out there and continue doing what we do defensively, because I think we're a great defensive team. So we just have to go out there and be disciplined to what we do.
Bree?
I think, again, touching back on the film thing, like you really got to pay attention to personnel, who you're watching, individuals, who's the, top 2-3 scorers, who, pushes the team. Just realizing those certain aspects really can get you ahead when it comes defensively.
Any other questions? Chandler?
Hey, ladies, this is a question for both of you. You both embrace the role of being two of the best defenders on the team. So what goes into embracing that role, and then also just how much pride do you take on the defensive end? Do both of you take on the defensive end?
Bree?
I think it's really just dedicating myself to something like I'm great at, just being able to continue it each and every game, putting my all into each and every game. Whoever I'm guarding, just not taking a day off. I think that means a lot more to me than, anybody else, I would say.
Victoria?
I, too, take a lot of pride in just being able to do all the little small things for the team, anything to help. I just, that excites me, so.
Let's go back to the left side of the room.
Hey there, this is for both of you. What are you going to do to center yourself in the morning? Kind of take us through a little bit in your headspace about how you prepare for such a big day like tomorrow.
Victoria?
There's not anything specific that I do. I mean, it's just the same routine that I would wake up and do every other game day.
Bree?
I think for me, I just put a lot of emphasis on, kind of cutting down socializing, whether it's on social media or just little friends and family type of thing. Not cutting them all the way out, but, limit, phone calls, FaceTime calls, little things like that. I think naturally just get me in the mood and get me locked in for, what's to come.
Cam?
This is for both of y'all also. I know in the last day or so, that piece from The Ringer on Destiny Littleton has been, kind of making the circulations. I just wanted to ask both of y'all what it's like to see a player like that, who is kind of an unsung hero, get that kind of shine, and to see people start to, realize her story and her contributions to this team.
Bree, let's start with you.
I think just being around her for 3 years, like, I never really knew her story. I just seen, like, how well she carried herself. I seen the, battles, whether it was on the court, off the court, that she dealt with. I never really understood the depth of it, and just reading that, it really, like, encouraged me. It pushed me and inspired me, like there's a brighter day ahead of you, so just keep pushing, keep moving. So that story was really amazing.
Victoria?
I agree. I feel like just being around her for all these years, just getting really getting to know her and hearing her side of the story, like she's told me before, just pieces of it, and just seeing who she is and how she carries herself every day on and off the court is inspiring.
Augusta?
I kind of wanted to ask y'all about creating that fun team atmosphere we see, especially on the bench, in late games yesterday with Lily and the clip that we've seen kind of circulate on Twitter. Just creating that atmosphere, how much does that play into y'all's success and just cohesion in general?
Victoria, why don't you take that one first?
I feel like it plays a big role, because just showing how much we care for each other and how much we're happy for each other and just want everybody to do well. And I think just when people show their emotions in that way, that it brings everybody happiness.
Bree?
I agree. Just showing how, like, genuinely happy we are for one another. I think that's one of the biggest things that keeps us going, keeps us motivated, keeps us in a good mind space as a team. I think that's just amazing to see. It's fun to see all of us enjoying one another.
Let's go to the back of the room.
Speaking of Lily, she's the only one on this roster that's gotten to experience kind of what this is like here at home. Just what was that atmosphere like, and just what did it feel like to get that home crowd here for you in a tournament situation?
Bree?
I think for me, it's just happy seeing her, enjoy this moment again. Last moment, like you mentioned, being in here for her and, the rest of our seniors. It's just fun to watch her enjoy it and then have a good game on top of that. So I think, again, it's just all of us enjoying one another and being happy for one another.
Victoria?
I feel like she's just having fun. I feel happy, like, getting to watch her enjoy moments like this, and considering it's about to be her last few games here, I love it. I love seeing her happy and playing good and everything.
Any other questions from the floor? You got a couple more, Chandler?
Another question for both of you. Yesterday was obviously a great day, really successful day, but what are some things you both feel like the team needs to work on going into tomorrow?
Victoria?
I just feel like we just have to continue doing what we're doing, playing together, making sure we hit shots, and just do what we do on the defensive end.
Bree?
I think really putting emphasis on consistency from start to finish. We have to definitely hammer down on that from the beginning of the jump ball to when the clocks run out. I think that's going to be our biggest thing to take over.
Corey?
Bree, there's potentially for you guys 5 games left in the year. For yourself, just kind of take us a little bit into what you like to do in terms of just staying ready offensively in the event that, in any one of these remaining 5 games potentially, Dawn could look at you in the huddle and say, Bree, we might need you to step up a little bit offensively. How do you just sort of stay ready in case that situation presents itself?
I think it's just understanding that the whole staff has trust in me, and I have trust in myself. So if my name is called, I will be ready in any circumstance it may be. So I think just believing in myself, them believing in me, having the confidence in myself, that can take me a long way.
Any other questions for the student athletes from the floor? If not, we'll go to Lindsay Schnell. Lindsay on Zoom.
Hey ladies, hope you can hear me. Victoria, yesterday your team was kind of getting like all the attention in the women's tournament because of the halftime score. And then Stanford stole your thunder because Fran dunked in a game. I know that you can dunk. I'm wondering if we're gonna see it in the second round.
I'm still working on my dunk. It's not pretty or anything like that. I did think that was awesome, seeing her dunk in a game like that. Like, I enjoy seeing women be successful in that type of way.
Any other questions from the Zoom audience? I don't see any. All right, student athletes are free to go.
job.
Appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'll open up for the floor for questions for Coach Staley. DC?
How's it going, Dawn? I was wondering, will Sanaya be available tomorrow, and is there an update on Camilla?
Yeah. Shania, she'll be dressing out. It'll be a game time decision whether or not she'll get in. Camilla's feeling a little bit better today, and we just got to keep an eye on it.
Any questions for Coach? Good. Let's go over here in the front.
I guess obviously quick turnaround. Just what have you seen in your opposition? I don't know how much time you've had in this quick turnaround to watch some film, but what do you see in that matchup?
I mean, I see a very hot Miami team that that are stroking the ball pretty good. They're sharing the ball. They're linked up. They got players that could apply a lot of pressure to the ball and be disruptive. I mean, they're playing extremely well. We got to somehow disrupt that. We got to disrupt their flow of their offensive flow. Because if you allow them to take the shots that they're taking uncontested, it'll be a long day for us. So I think we got to pack our defense to make sure that we are making it hard for them, making them hard for them to catch the ball, making it hard for them to be in areas where they're effective. We got to not foul, and then we got to take care of the rebounding.
Other questions for Coach? Corey?
Yeah, Don, and as a follow-up to that, just, I guess, defensive rotation, how do you feel where that is for you guys heading into tomorrow afternoon's game? And, when you get in a game like this against a team that's as hot as Miami is on the perimeter, just kind of what are maybe some of those things that you and the rest of your staff just kind of stresses to the ladies heading into a game like this?
I think what we have to stress is what Bree said, which is the habits that we've created. When I think probably 95% of the time we've defended, and though that percentage is pretty high, I don't think we're going to fold and do things that we really haven't done. Actually for most of the game anyway, we'll have instances where there may be a lapse here or there, but there aren't too many lapses that we'll have. So we got to rely on what we've done. There's not going to be an overhaul in how we approach things from a defensive side of the ball. I mean, we got players who prioritize that side of the basketball, and that's what we have to bring come 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Kim?
Hey, Dawn, you mentioned that this team can't really afford to have any more shooting days like you had yesterday, but with such a quick turnaround, how do you try to address that from game to game, or is it just something that you trust will correct itself when you step on the court again?
I mean, we got to trust that it'll correct itself. I thought we took good shots. They just didn't go in. I don't know if Miami will play as extreme as Howard played us. I thought Howard did a great job at just picking their poison and forcing us to shoot from the outside. But Miami, they may. We got to hit shots, so we got to defend, and we got to definitely rebound the basketball. But we'll shoot today. We're not going to put any more emphasis of making shots than what our players already feel. They got to knock down shots. We're home. There should be friendly rims to us. They got to put the ball in the hole.
Let's go to Jeffrey.
Don, you mentioned Miami on this hot streak. I think they've won 9 of their last 11. As a coach, is it a pretty good feeling when you have a team that maybe is a little bit adrift, but suddenly they click and figure it out? And does that make them even more dangerous because they've kind of got that cohesion together?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we ran into a team like that in the SEC tournament championship. So we're familiar with that feeling, that team that has been super successful. And we get a chance to avenge it and be more prepared for it and aware of it and actually do something about it. So very aware of their success, very aware of, you know, what's causing their success, and it will be a tale of imposing our wills on each other.
Other questions from the floor for Coach? If not, Lindsay?
John, don't run away just yet. Quick question for you. I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but Tara challenged every coach in the men's and women's tournament to match her and donate $10 for every 3 made and put that money toward humanitarian efforts in Ukraine. She then told a story about her 96 team, which you were on, that played in Ukraine. And when you guys were in Ukraine, this is obviously her Olympic team, that when you all were leaving after like a month of playing in tournaments there, you went to get on the bus and there were a bunch of local women begging, and you all opened your suitcases and your wallets and gave them everything you had. So what I was wondering is, first of all, are you going to accept her challenge? Right now, there were 233s made in the women's tournament yesterday. So she so far owes $2,300. And then do you remember that time in 96 in Ukraine? And if so, can you tell us about it?
Obviously, Tara's a Hall of Fame coach for a reason, and probably one of the things is her memory, which mine fades me. I do remember, you know, we used to call the Ukraine team our sisters. We played them so much. I remember just playing them, you know, here and then going there and playing them. I really don't remember the story that Tara told, but I do remember just us, any stops that we made that we felt like we could help someone. The Cubans were one that I vividly remember helping them, but I'm not surprised that we did that. And as far as accepting the challenge, I don't mind accepting the challenge, but we also have some communities here that really need us. So, you know, if I accept the challenge of helping the Ukrainians out, I challenge Tara, and I think we're both pretty good rebounders. If we can challenge each other for every rebound to help, you know, inner city youth in Philly or Columbia, because there's a lot of homelessness here. It's prevalent in our state here in South Carolina. So we can get 2 challenges going, both to help afar and nearby.
I love it. Thank you.
David's got a follow-up.
How much I owe so far?
Uh,
2,300.
Yeah, I think there were 233s hit yesterday.
Well, we're not helping the situation with the threes. Good Lord. Our team is saving me some money, huh?
Dawn, as an aside of that 96 Olympics, I think the 30 for 30 is coming out soon. Did you participate in that project? I think it's going to be broadcast in June. But
Is that the one? Child, there's a lot of 96 is coming out. I participated in all of them, so yes.
Let's go to Patrick Waring. Sorry, I had to allow him to talk.
Hey, Coach, I apologize if you've been asked this before on a previous call, but I just wanted to get your thoughts and ask you about being on the cover of Slam. Just kind of talk about that opportunity, not just for you, but to be able to be joined by some of your players as well.
I think the biggest attraction was probably the players, and I don't know how I got pulled into that. But Slam has been a magazine that all of us who grew up playing the game and playing the game of basketball. You always remember who's on the cover of Slam. Like I actually own a Allen Iverson Slam hoodie, and it's super cool. They always have a way of magnetically just coming up with pieces that are iconic. And fortunately for us, they stayed true to their game when they put us on the cover of it. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's I think we got a lot of hits from it, and I know our players really thought very highly of themselves.
All right, thank you.
I don't see any other hands, so Coach, you can go. Appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
See you after the
Thank
game.
you, everybody, for coming. Y'all gonna throw this away? I drank out of this.
Good, Coach. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
All right, we are ready for our next press conference. The Miami Hurricanes, the number 8 seed in the Greensboro region, represented today by head coach Katie Meyer and student athletes Lola Pendande and Jalea Williams. Coach, if we would please make an opening statement.
We feel really good about how we played yesterday. Like I said afterwards, I thought South Florida is a great team, and if you told me they were going to make 9 threes and shoot 41% from the three, I would have thought we would really been our backs against the wall. So I think our offense showed up, and we're going to need it. I mean, this is a beautiful team, South Carolina. They're just beautiful. They play hard. They defend like their lives depend on it, and they keep things really simple, and they really go to their strengths, and there's a lot of strengths. So we have a heck of a challenge ahead of us, but I think that we're if you could ever be prepared to play such a talented team, at least we've played a schedule that has some of those talented. I don't know that they've all been on the same team like they're at South Carolina, but we've played against some really great bigs. We've played against some great shooters. We've played against some great point guards, and like you said, we've played against 2 number 1 seeds already. So we know that they know that as well, and we're just looking forward to the game and just see how we match up once the ball's tipped.
With that, we'll open up just for questions for just the student athletes at this time. Please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Augusta with the first one.
Hi, I'm Augusta Stone with the State Newspaper. I wanted to ask y'all, just both of you, preparing for South Carolina, what are some of the main, keys that you guys are honing in on, in practice just ahead of tomorrow?
Lola, you want to take that first?
Sure. I think we're focusing on the defense and just stay together like we were yesterday playing USF. I think our strength is that we outwork people, so we're just going to go there and play basketball, Miami basketball.
Jalea?
Piggyback on what Lola said, stand together. I mean, this is their home court, and like last night we saw that they had a lot of fans. So like Coach said, we have to stay together, communicate with each other, always stay connected, because we're not going to be able to hear each other. Like, only people that can hear us is the people on the court. Like, we barely can hear Coach Kate. So honestly, communicate, play defense, rebound, and score in the basketball.
Go to the second row. Go ahead.
Matt Vereen with Watch Fox here in Columbia. You mentioned last night. I'm just curious what your guys' reactions were when you're watching that game and you see a score like 44-4. Obviously, everyone knows the Gamecocks are good, but just what was the impression on seeing a score like that?
Jalea?
I mean, I don't really think it was an impression. Like, South Carolina is a good team. We all know that they have very tall people. A person who, like, Aaliyah Boston, who hasn't, like, been stopped. Like, she has double-doubles. So, honestly, I just think being together will actually help work in our favor. Playing Miami basketball, and yeah.
Lola?
I wasn't expecting less from South Carolina. They're a pretty good team. They dominate every game. So I wasn't impressed by that. And honestly, I don't feel intimidated. We've been here before, and we're just going to go out there and work.
Jeffrey?
Coach mentioned you've already played against some of the best women in college basketball already. Is it helpful to be able to pull on those experiences and be able to, so you're maybe not in awe, or that you're just facing people that are just as talented as who you faced before and beaten?
Lola, why don't you take that first?
Yeah, like you said, we've been here before. Like I said, too, we've been here before. We played against one of the best teams in the country. And like I said, again, I don't feel intimidated. We've been in this situation. We outworked them, and I think we're capable of winning if we play Miami basketball.
Jalea?
Yeah, we've been here before, NC State, that last game. It's basically like preseason preparing you for the real season. Like, they had a lot of people. It's just another day of playing basketball, the game we love. So, yeah.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Y'all can go. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
See you later.
Y'all have a nice day.
The joy of youth.
And we'll go ahead and open it up for questions for Coach Meyer. If you raise your hand, Jeffrey.
Coach, I probably should ask you this like 3 days ago, but what happened when you were 12-10? What clicked? I mean, you're shooting better, everything's going better. I mean, what happened at that point that's allowed y'all to win 9 out of 11?
A lot of it was just inventory, to be honest. So, we were playing the first half of the year without Destiny Harden and Micaiah Gray. All right, Micaiah was kind of back, but she wasn't. Destiny was out. You see how important Lola, Jalea, okay, 2 players we just had in the press conference. That was their first year here. You add Maeva to that, right? You add Lachey Dwyer to that. You don't have. I was coaching a team that only had 2 players that had played for me for 2 seasons in a row, and we were playing, Washington State, Indiana, Maryland with no, everybody was new, and 2 new assistant coaches and a new video coordinator. So that happened, But it was also then we started playing well. We got Destiny kind of back, but we had a 25-day pause. So while everyone was looking at our schedule going, oh gosh, we had missed some games that, let's say they were maybe winnable games. We ended up winning them later, but we missed them, and so we had to pick them up. So when we went on this run at the last half of February, it was also, like I said, 4 games in a week. Like there was inventory remaining. I kind of had that attitude about it. Like, wait a minute. I mean, it's going to be hard, right? But there are teams right now that only have 12 wins and don't have but 3 games left, right? And we had like 8. So I thought, well, this can get to 20. And so we just kind of stayed on that mantra. So, and at the time, then Destiny comes back and our shifts happen and Mikey is back and the freshmen start playing better and the transfers understand how we're using them and so it was kind of 2 things.
Matt.
Coach, I know obviously a unique part of the tournament is your staff getting to scout the opposition in person in
Right.
that following game. Does it present kind of a challenge when that following game goes the way it did, that maybe you don't get as much of an impression of what they might do?
No, not much rode on that game. I was there. I wanted to soak in the atmosphere, anything else, but that we weren't sitting there like, oh gosh, no, we're not getting any calls from this. We have a lot more inventory that we're watching besides that game.
Cam.
Hey, Coach, Cam Gaskins with ABC Columbia. Speaking of that inventory with South Carolina, what do you see on tape as the biggest component to that defense that makes them so tough to crack?
Right. To see him live in person, sit there on the side of the court is impressive. It's almost ridiculous. You really do feel like it's a WNBA roster, and credit to Dawn and her staff. We're all so grateful for people that really push our sport, and Dawn is absolutely somebody who does that for us. And we lost Pat, and things happen, and Moffat's not coaching anymore. So Dawn is really someone that we turn to, and she deserves all the credit and all the accolades and all the great success she's had. I'm really grateful for her. But to sit there live and see, I'm not so grateful for their recruiting because they're really, really, really good. And they're hard to recruit against, let alone play against. So they've earned it, right? They've earned it. They've worked hard, and that's great. And they filled the stands, and that's great for our sport, right? It might not be great for Miami all the time, but it's great for our sport, right? So I'm proud of that. But to see their bodies in person is remarkable. But to see them play in their conference tournament and to see, how they defended some action, I didn't really get to see that yesterday. I didn't really get to see Howard run a lot of action that I wanted to see how South Carolina defended it, right? But I saw some stuff in that conference tournament that it was shockingly good. So I have a ton of respect for their defense.
Coach, do you take anything away from the 2 losses that South Carolina had at Missouri and the Kentucky game and kind of look to see how those teams were able to get a win?
Yeah, you have to. Of course, that's the first thing you're going to look at. You're going to look at, the trends, right? The win-loss trends. Well, there's only 2 trending downwards. So that's not enough inventory to get a whole game plan together. But I do, they play in such a tough conference, and so do we. And so I think you get to very quickly see if you go, well, did anyone trap them? Did anyone press them? Did anyone zone them? The answer is somebody did, right? So I've gotten to see that a lot in the last 24 hours.
Augusta?
Hi, Coach. I'm Augusta Stone with the State Newspaper. I wanted to ask just kind of your game plan around Aaliyah Boston, obviously not divulging everything, but what have you seen, just from watching her and, just kind of coming up with a plan, against her, the 25 double-double streak and everything going on around her
Well,
right now?
You said it. I mean, she's I think the thing that I really am most impressed with Aaliyah Boston is her game management, composure, and IQ, like her mental approach to the game. It's not just, oh my God, she's big and can get a double-double. I mean, she's really crafty. She's really intelligent. She's really smart. She puts the ball in the right spot. So, she's as good as advertised or better.
Other questions for Coach Meyer? None? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.